listening, learners. Welcome back to Explore English Podcast, where learning English is easy and fun. I am your host, Hina.
And I am Sam. Welcome back, English learners.
Sam, you came in very quietly today. No jokes, no energy. What happened?
Hina, I had the most embarrassing moment of my life this morning.
Tell me, what happened?
I was in the coffee shop downstairs, just getting my usual coffee, very normal morning. And then a man walked in. Foreign guy. American, I think. Very friendly face. He looked at me and said very casually, "Hey, excuse me, do you know where the nearest metro station is?"
And you told him?
I told him nothing.
Nothing at all?
Hina, I know where the metro station is. I walk past it every single morning. I know the word metro. I know the word station. I know the words straight ahead and 2 minutes and just turn left. I know all of these words. I use them when I am alone. I say them in my head all the time.
But when he asked you...
The moment he opened his mouth and English came out, everything disappeared. Every single word. Gone. Like someone switched off the lights inside my brain and I was standing in complete darkness, looking for something I could not find anywhere.
What did you do?
I smiled, like a statue smiles. And I said, sorry. And he smiled back, very kindly, and walked away to ask someone else.
Oh, Sam.
And I stood there for 5 full minutes feeling like the most useless person alive. A man asked me one simple question in a language I have been studying for years, and I gave him a frozen smile and the word sorry.
You are not useless. And what happened to you in that coffee shop, it has a name, a real name. And right now there are people all over this world who had the exact same experience today, this week, this morning.
Really? Other people freeze like that?
Not some people, Sam. Millions of people. And today, we are going to talk about exactly why it happens and what to actually do about it.
Because I have had this problem for years and I never understood why. I know the English, so why does it disappear?
That is the exact question, and the answer is going to surprise you. Sam, in that coffee shop, when the man spoke to you, walk me through exactly what happened inside you. Not what you did outwardly, what you felt, in order, from the very first second.
Okay, first thing. The moment I heard his accent, before he even finished his sentence, something happened in my chest.
What happened?
It tightened, like a fist closing inside my chest, and my brain immediately, before I even processed what he was asking, went into a kind of alert mode. An alarm went off.
An alarm.
An alarm, yes. And the alarm was not saying, think of the right words. The alarm was saying something completely different.
What was it saying?
A real person is looking at you, a native speaker. Do not mess this up. Say something intelligent. Do not sound stupid. He is waiting. Say something. Say something now.
And while that alarm was screaming those things inside your head,
there was absolutely no space left to actually find the words.
You just described the entire mechanism, right there, in one experience.
That is the whole answer?
That is the beginning of the answer, and we are going to go much deeper, because understanding it fully is what actually changes it. Sam, your brain has 2 main systems. Think of them as 2 completely different people living inside your head.
2 people in my head. That is not reassuring at all, but okay, go on.
The first person is calm, logical, patient. This is the thinking brain, the part that stores information, finds words, makes sentences, understands language, solves problems. This is the person you need when someone speaks English to you.
The helpful one.
The second person is a security guard. He is not calm, he is not patient, he does not care about grammar or vocabulary. His only job, the only thing he was ever trained to do, is to protect you from danger.
And in that coffee shop,
The security guard heard the alarm and immediately took over everything. He pushed the thinking brain completely to one side and said, "I will handle this situation."
And the security guard's way of handling things does not include saying the metro station is straight ahead.
The security guard's way of handling danger is freeze, look harmless, do not expose yourself, do not risk anything.
So my brain was not being stupid or broken. It was doing exactly what it was designed to do.
Exactly what it was designed to do. Your brain decided you were in danger, and it responded accordingly.
But Hina, a man asking for metro directions is not danger. He was genuinely the friendliest person. He was smiling the whole time.
To you, consciously, yes, no danger at all. But to your security guard, something much bigger was at stake in that moment.
What was at stake?
How you are seen, your image, your intelligence in the eyes of another person, specifically a person whose language you are trying to speak. If you said something wrong or said nothing, he might form a negative judgment about you.
And that judgment felt like a threat.
To your ancient brain, yes. Being judged negatively, being seen as less, being embarrassed in front of another person. These things have always felt dangerous to human beings. Thousands of years ago, being rejected by the group was literally life or death.
And my brain has not updated itself to understand that a tourist's opinion of my English is not the same as being rejected from the tribe.
Your brain is running very old software in a very new situation.
My brain looked at a friendly American tourist and thought, predator, threat, danger.
The emotional response was the same, yes.
That is honestly the most ridiculous and most logical thing I have ever heard about myself at the same time.
Most true things about human beings are exactly that, ridiculous and logical at the same time.
Okay, but knowing why it happens, does that actually help? Because I have frozen many times before, and knowing it was embarrassing never stopped it happening again.
Understanding alone does not fix it. You are right. But without understanding, nothing else works properly. So that was layer one. Now let us talk about what actually changes things.
Yes. Please, what changes it?
There are 3 real shifts, not tricks, not memory techniques, real shifts that change how your brain handles these moments. And the first one is going to sound almost too simple.
The simple ones always hit hardest with you. Okay, what is it?
In that coffee shop, when he spoke to you, where was your attention?
On myself, completely. What do I say? How will I sound? Am I going to mess this up? Am I red in the face right now? Can he see that I am panicking?
Every single bit of your mental energy pointed inward, at you, at your own performance.
And that is the problem?
When your entire attention is pointed at yourself, your brain is doing 2 things at once. It is trying to have a conversation, and it is watching itself try to have a conversation, judging every word before it comes out, evaluating every syllable, and that is simply too much. The system overloads and crashes.
So the self-watching itself causes the crash.
Exactly. The self-watching is the crash. Remove the self-watching and you have space to actually speak.
How do I remove it? It happens automatically. I cannot just tell myself, stop watching yourself.
You replace it. You move your attention away from yourself and onto the other person completely.
Curious, what does that mean in practice? In that exact coffee shop moment?
Instead of thinking, what is the perfect English response I can give this person, you think, what does this person actually need right now?
What does this person need right now?
He needs to find the metro station. That is all. He is not testing your English. He is not evaluating your grammar. He needs a direction. He is a human being who is slightly lost in a new city.
And if I had thought of it that way, as just helping a lost person?
The security guard would have relaxed because helping someone does not feel threatening. Helping feels safe. And in that safety, your thinking brain gets to come back online.
And the thinking brain knows where the metro station is.
The thinking brain has known where the metro station is for 2 years. It just needs a moment of safety to speak.
So, every time I walk into an English conversation, I need to ask myself, what does this person need? Not, How do I sound?
What do they need every single time? That one shift from self-focused to other-focused changes the entire experience.
I have been making myself the main character of every English conversation I have ever been in, and I should have been making the other person the main character.
That is beautifully put. Yes, exactly that.
Okay, shift 1, attention outward. What is shift 2?
Shift 2 is about the half second before you speak, that tiny moment between hearing the question and opening your mouth.
What about that half second?
What were the exact words your brain said in that half second in the coffee shop?
Do not mess this up.
And the moment you thought that, what did your body do?
Tensed. Immediately. Every muscle.
Because your brain heard mess up is a real possibility right now. And immediately it focused all its energy on the threat of messing up. Those 4 words, do not mess this up, are actually the worst possible preparation for speaking.
But I was trying to prepare myself to be careful.
I know, and that instinct is very understandable. But here is what actually happens. When you say, do not mess up, your brain focuses on the concept of messing up. It brings messing up to the very front of your mind. And then it looks for messing up in every word you are about to say.
So the warning creates the exact thing I'm warning myself against.
Have you ever heard about how athletes perform badly under big pressure? A penalty kick that a player has scored 100 times in practice, and they miss it in the final match when everything matters.
Yes, it happens in cricket too. Simple shots that players miss when the pressure is highest.
Same mechanism exactly. Do not miss makes you miss. Do not freeze makes you freeze. The pressure of the warning activates the failure.
So, what do I say to myself instead? Because I cannot say nothing, my brain will say something in that half second no matter what.
You replace the warning with permission. Something like, I know some English, let me just talk.
I know some English. Let me just talk.
No pressure, no performance, just, I have something, let me use it.
It sounds so basic, almost too relaxed.
That is exactly why it works. Your nervous system does not need another alarm before speaking. It needs permission. Permission to be imperfect and still try.
Permission to say something imperfect and have the world not end.
And the world will not end. It never does. That friendly American tourist would have been grateful for any words, even broken ones, even slow ones, even words with a strong accent. He just needed to find the metro.
He was not there to judge me. He just needed help.
He just needed help. That is all anyone in that situation ever needs.
Okay, shift 3.
Shift 3 is the most practical one, and it works even on the days when shifts 1 and 2 are not enough.
Tell me.
When your brain freezes in an English conversation, it is not because you have no English. You have English. We established that. The problem is that you cannot access your English in that panicked state. Think of it like having all your clothes inside a locked wardrobe and needing to get dressed in 30 seconds.
The clothes are there, I just cannot open the wardrobe in time.
But what if 3 items of clothing were always hanging outside the wardrobe, always ready, never locked away, no matter how panicked you are?
3 sentences that are always available no matter how frozen I am.
Exactly. 3 sentences you have practiced so many times that they live outside the panic. They come automatically, before the freeze can stop them.
What are they?
Sentence 1, a time-buying phrase. Something true, something natural that gives you 3 or 4 more seconds. Oh, let me think for a second. Or, good question, 1 moment. Or even just,
And those seconds?
are enough time for the security guard to relax slightly, for the thinking brain to come back, for the right words to move from the back of your mind to the front.
So I do not have to answer immediately?
You never had to answer immediately. That was always a rule you invented yourself.
I always felt like silence was the worst possible thing. Like every second of silence was proving I could not speak English.
A 2 or 3 second pause before answering in any language is completely normal. It happens in every conversation, every day between native speakers. Only you feel how long it is. To the other person, it is nothing at all.
I have been suffering through those seconds thinking everyone could see my panic, and they were just waiting normally?
They were just waiting, the giant sign inside your head that says, "This person is panicking." Only you can read it, nobody else.
That is genuinely one of the most relieving things I've ever heard.
Sentence 2?
What is sentence 2?
Simply, ask for help, without shame. "Sorry, could you say that again?" Or, "I am not sure I understood. Could you speak a little slower?" Or simply, "Sorry, could you repeat that?"
But Hina, does that not immediately show that my English is not good the moment I ask someone to repeat themselves?
Sam, asking someone to repeat themselves is something native English speakers do every single day of their lives.
Even native speakers?
Sorry, what? Could you say that again? I did not catch that. Pardon? These are so normal in English that they are taught as basic conversation phrases. Between two native English speakers, asking for repetition happens constantly.
So it is not a sign that my English is weak, it is just a normal communication tool?
Exactly. And actually, someone who asks for clarification sounds more engaged and more confident than someone who nods without understanding anything, because asking means you care about getting it right.
So asking, could you repeat that, makes me look better, not worse?
Significantly better. It says, I am paying attention. I want to understand you properly. I am not just nodding to fill the silence.
I have nodded so many times without understanding a single word.
We all have. And it helps nobody. Not you, not the person speaking to you. They think you understood. You did not. Everyone leaves confused.
Okay, sentence 3.
Sentence 3, a simple, honest, direct answer. Not perfect, not impressive, just true and clear.
Give me one specifically for the coffee shop situation.
After sentence 1 buys you time and sentence 2 confirms you understood the question, sentence 3 for that situation could simply be, the metro station is about 2 minutes from here. Just go straight and turn left.
Which I knew the whole time.
You knew it the entire time. Every single word of that sentence was inside you. You just needed the space and the permission to reach it.
The 3 sentences are not really about learning new English. They're about creating the conditions for the English I already have to come out.
That is exactly it. You do not need more vocabulary. You do not need more grammar study. You need a system that gives your existing English room to breathe.
Room to breathe. I like that very much.
Hina, can I tell you something I have never actually said out loud? Of course.
There are situations in my daily life that I actively avoid because I know English might be involved, and I cannot handle the idea of freezing in front of people.
What kind of situations?
I avoid sitting near foreign tourists on the train. I take longer routes sometimes to avoid walking past restaurants where foreigners are eating outside. And once I actually stood outside a shop for nearly 20 minutes because I could hear foreign voices inside and I did not want to go in and have them speak to me.
20 minutes outside in the cold?
In the cold, yes. I was buying something I needed, I just could not make myself walk through the door.
Sam, that is not weakness. That is a completely logical response to something that has caused you real pain.
Pain?
Every time you freeze in an English conversation, there is a moment of shame afterward. That shame is real pain. And your brain, which is always trying to protect you, says, let us avoid the thing that keeps causing this pain.
Makes perfect sense to the brain.
But here is what that avoidance is actually doing that you cannot see from inside it.
What is it doing?
Every time you avoid a situation, you send your brain one more piece of evidence. Evidence that confirms English conversations with real people are genuinely dangerous, worth avoiding, worth 20 minutes standing outside in cold weather.
And my brain stores that evidence.
and believes it more strongly each time.
Exactly. The avoidance does not protect you from the fear. It feeds the fear. Every avoided situation makes the fear bigger and more powerful. The thing you are trying to escape grows stronger every time you run from it.
So my 20 minutes outside that shop made the next English conversation harder, not easier.
Yes, and the one after that. And the one after that. You were trying to protect yourself, and you were accidentally making the problem worse every time.
Then what is the right thing? Force myself in even when the fear is at full volume?
Not force. That word matters. Forcing yourself into a situation where your fear is at a 10, where you are completely overwhelmed, that often makes things worse. Your brain has a terrible experience, and it confirms this really was dangerous, and the fear grows even bigger.
So what is the right approach?
You introduce yourself to English conversations gradually, gently, starting from a place where the fear is very low, a 2 out of 10, maybe a 1.
What does a 1 or 2 look like in real life?
You walk into a shop where there might be an English speaker, and you say one word to the cashier, "Thanks." That is it. One word. Done. You leave.
One word counts?
One word is a real English interaction with a real person, and afterward, your brain has new evidence. I said an English word to a real person. I survived. Nothing terrible happened. The world is intact. I am intact.
I am intact is the standard we are measuring against here?
That is exactly the standard, because your nervous system genuinely needs to learn this situation is survivable, and you build that understanding one small moment at a time.
One word. The next time one sentence.
One sentence with a clear, easy answer. Do you have this in a different size? Or what time do you close? Something where even if you say it imperfectly, the conversation ends quickly. Low stakes, clear outcome. And afterward, more evidence. I said a sentence. They understood me. I survived.
And slowly, the security guard starts getting quieter in these situations because he has enough evidence that they are safe.
He stops calling them threats. He starts calling them normal. Just a person, just a question, just a conversation.
The lion becomes less scary.
The lion becomes a very ordinary house cat.
I can handle a house cat. I have a cat at home. She ignores me completely, but I am absolutely not afraid of her.
Perfect. That is exactly the goal. English conversations that feel like your cat. Present, real, completely non-threatening. You understand, Sam.
Hina, can I ask you about the people who do not freeze? Because I see them and I genuinely cannot understand how they are different from me.
What do you notice about them?
My colleague Priya, she just speaks English with anyone. Foreign visitors at the office, people on the phone, strangers on the street. She does not prepare, she does not visibly panic. She just opens her mouth and English comes out, like it is the easiest thing in the world.
And when you watch her, what do you feel?
Two things. First, genuine admiration. I think she is amazing. Second, this horrible sinking feeling that I will never be that she has something I was simply not given.
I want you to ask Priya something the next time you see her.
What?
Ask her, did you always feel this comfortable with English, or did something change at some point?
You think she had frozen moments too?
I am almost completely certain that Priya had her own coffee shop moment, her own 20 minutes standing outside in the cold, her own frozen smile and the word sorry, probably many of them.
But she seems so natural now, so completely unafraid.
What you are seeing in Priya right now, that ease, that comfort, that is not a personality she was born with. That is scar tissue.
Scar tissue?
Every embarrassing English moment you survive, every freeze, every wrong word, every time you sound imperfect and the world does not end, that experience leaves something behind, something tougher than what was there before, more resistant, less easily frightened next time.
So confident English speakers are not people who never felt fear.
They are people who felt the fear, exactly what you felt this morning, and walked through the coffee shop door anyway. Enough times. Until their brain updated its judgment, until English conversations moved from the threat category into the completely normal category.
They did not become brave, they just became used to surviving the fear.
That is the most accurate description of language confidence I have ever heard from anyone.
And the only way to build that scar tissue is to have the uncomfortable experiences, not to avoid them.
Exactly. You cannot build scar tissue by staying away from everything that feels sharp. You have to make contact, carefully, gradually, and let the healing happen.
All this time, I thought I needed to be ready before I could speak. Perfect enough, confident enough, fluent enough, and then I would try.
And?
But the confidence does not come before the speaking, it comes from the speaking. I had the whole thing completely backwards.
You had it backwards, and almost everyone does, because it feels logical. Prepare first, then perform. But with language confidence, it works the opposite way. You perform imperfectly, and the confidence grows from that imperfect performance.
I have been waiting to feel ready, and I would have waited forever, because readiness does not come from waiting.
Readiness comes from doing, every single time.
Then I am done waiting.
That decision right there is the real beginning of everything.
Hina, there is one more thing I want to ask about, something that happens after the freeze that I think might be making everything worse.
Tell me.
After every frozen conversation, I replay it in my head, sometimes for hours. I go through every word I should have said, every response I could have given. In the replay, inside my imagination, I am brilliant. I say everything perfectly. I am calm and clear and helpful. And then I feel even worse because where was that person when the real conversation was happening?
Sam, that replay, that mental conversation you have with yourself for hours afterward, do you know what it is actually doing to your brain?
Something bad, I think?
It is teaching your brain that the situation was even more dangerous and more painful than it already felt in the moment. Because your brain cannot fully tell the difference between something that really happened and something you are vividly reliving. When you replay that frozen moment 10 times with the same shame and frustration each time, your brain experiences 10 painful failures.
So the replay is like failing the conversation 10 extra times after it already ended.
And each replay adds more weight to one message. English conversations equal pain, equal failure, equals shame, which makes the next real conversation even more frightening to face.
But I cannot stop the replay. It just starts automatically. I'm not choosing to do it.
You cannot stop it starting, but you can change what happens inside it, and that changes what your brain actually learns from it.
How do I change it?
When the replay begins, let it play. Do not fight it. Watch the frozen moment happen, and then, instead of stopping there with the shame, continue the story in your imagination.
Continue it how?
Imagine yourself, after the freeze, taking one small breath, saying, "Sorry, one moment," and then giving a simple answer. Metro station? Just straight ahead. Turn left. Nothing more, nothing perfect, just a response.
So I rewrite the ending. Not to pretend the freeze did not happen, but to not let the freeze be the final image my brain stores.
Exactly, because the brain remembers the last version it receives most strongly. If every replay ends with you frozen and silent, that is what your brain prepares for next time. But if every replay ends with you speaking, even quietly, even imperfectly, your brain starts building a completely different expectation.
Same moment, different ending, different lesson stored.
And that different lesson makes the real next conversation slightly less scary because your brain has seen in the replay that you are capable of responding, even after a freeze. You found a way through.
I have been replaying my failures in the worst possible way for years, and I had absolutely no idea it was making things harder every time.
You were trying to learn from them. That instinct was right. You just needed to change what lesson you were teaching yourself each time.
Okay, I want to say all of this back to make sure I have it.
Please.
The freeze happens because my brain's security guard decides that an English conversation with a real person is a threat. He shuts down the thinking brain to protect me, and I go blank. Not because I have no English, but because the part of me that accesses English has been pushed completely offline.
Perfect.
The fix is not more vocabulary or more grammar study. It is 3 real shifts. Shift 1, move my attention from myself to the other person. Stop performing, start connecting. Ask what do they need, not how do I sound.
Exactly right.
Shift 2, change the half second before I speak. Replace do not mess this up with I know some English, let me just talk. Give my brain permission instead of more pressure.
Yes.
Shift 3, keep 3 sentences always ready outside the panic. Buy time, ask for help without shame, give a simple, honest answer, and build evidence slowly. 1 word first, then 1 sentence. Prove to my brain 1 small moment at a time that English conversations are safe.
And the replay?
Change the ending. Do not let the freeze be the last frame. Rewrite it in my imagination with me speaking, so my brain stores a different lesson and prepares differently for next time.
Sam, you just taught this entire episode back to yourself. Clearly, confidently, without freezing once.
I did not even notice I was doing that.
I know, because you were focused on the ideas, on what you were trying to say, not on how you were sounding.
I stopped performing and just talked.
You just talked, and look what came out.
I want to be that person in real English conversations too.
You will be. You are already practicing right now, every episode, every time you speak here.
And I am going back to that coffee shop tomorrow morning.
What are you going to do?
If that man is there or anyone like him, I'm going to say more than I am going to say 1 sentence, maybe 2. Not perfectly, but I am going to say them out loud to a real person. And I'm going to let that be enough for that day.
That is more than enough. That is exactly enough.
You know, when I walked in here today, I felt like I had failed at something fundamental. Like there was something broken inside me that other people do not have.
And now?
Now I feel like I understand what is actually happening. And things I understand, I can work with. I cannot work with a mystery, but this I can work with.
That is the most important shift of everything we talked about today. Not the 3 sentences, not the attention trick. This, knowing what is actually happening and knowing it is workable.
Because a problem with a cause has a solution. And something I thought was just me being fundamentally broken turns out to be my brain doing a very logical thing in a very unhelpful way.
And that brain, your brain, can learn. It learns every day. And every small English moment you give it is a lesson, a new piece of evidence, a new instruction about what is safe.
Feed it good evidence, 1 word at a time.
To every single person listening right now, how many of you have been Sam today? How many times this week have you frozen? How many words disappeared exactly when you needed them? How many doors have you not walked through because the English felt too risky?
If you are nodding right now, we want to say something to you very clearly.
You are not broken. Your English is not broken.
Your brain is doing its job. Too well, perhaps, but it is protecting you the only way it knows how.
And that job can be gently retrained with 1 word, with 1 sentence, with 1 small, brave moment at a time.
Come back and tell us in the comments, what was your coffee shop moment? What situation made you freeze? Because your story matters to us, and it matters to every person listening who thinks they are the only one standing outside in the cold.
You are not the only one. You were never the only one.
If today meant something to you, please subscribe to Explore English Podcast. Share this with someone you know who goes quiet when English arrives.
They need to hear this.
Tell them it is not your English that is the problem. It is your brain doing its job too well, and that can absolutely change.
Keep speaking, keep growing, keep exploring.
This has been Explore English Podcast. I am Hina.
And I am Sam, who is going back to that coffee shop tomorrow morning, and this time I will not be giving anyone a frozen statue smile.
I will be cheering for you the whole way.
Goodbye, everyone. Take care of yourselves.
And never stop exploring. Goodbye.